Good morning, all of you. In today's session, we are going to start with CSIR NET JRF Chemical Science, December 2014, Part C, Series 1. Earlier, we completed entire Part B in 3 different series consisting individual questions of 21 to 35, 36 to 50, 51 to 70. All solved question paper is there in the channel called World of Competitive Chemistry. Apart from that, previous year question papers including 2015, 2016, 2017, 18, 2019, 2020 of both sessions including June and December. All the question paper with a detailed solution is available on the channel called World of Competitive Chemistry. This kind of previous year question paper discussion will fetching you towards you if you are research aspirant, otherwise preparing for any competitive examination, and also entrance examination like BSc entrance, any MSc course entrance, any PhD entrance if you are preparing for, and also obviously it will be NET, CSIR NET JRF examination. So all these are possible by using this CSIR NET JRF Chemical Science question paper, because it is a standard question paper and available with a detailed solution. Let us discuss about today's concept. CSIR NET JRF Chemical Science, December 2014, Part C, Series 1 consists of questions from 71 to 80. Let us go with question number 71. Which of the following will result in the deviation from the Bede's law? Right? Lambert-Bede's law is mainly employed for the spectroscopy. Spectroscopy heart is mainly this Lambert-Bede's law. Based on this only how the absorbance of light is possible and how it will be related with the concentration, that purely depends upon this Lambert's law, right? So if this Lambert's law is obeyed by the compound, then spectral signals are possible. What could be the reason for this kind of deviation? Because there are three certain reasons for this one. First is about change in the refractive index of the medium. Refraction in the sense, if any solution which is moving from one medium to any other medium, that will pass through certain angle. That angle of deviation is main cause for this kind of deviation, the Lambert's law. And second is about dissociation of any light on dilution. Any compound, any sample compound we are taking for the analysis, upon treating with the light, what happens if it involved in any kind of dissociation? That means compound should be analyzed in a proper way if we are if the compound is highly stable upon the irradiation of light. If that dissociated into different fragments, it will be difficult to analyze that one. In that case also deviation could be occurred in the Lambert's law. And next is about polychromatic light. So if we are bombarding any compound with the light of various intensities and various directions, what happens? That light source not with a specific intensity and how extent of light absorbed, that proper characterization of compound may not be possible. All these are considered to be a major reasons for the deviation in the Lambert's law. One could be a refractive index if changes upon changing from one medium to another medium. And second is about if compound is not stable under light conditions, if it participate in any dissociation. And next is about if the light employed on the compound is having dispersion in all possible directions instead of a single wavelength of light. So if these three conditions are there, now you can say there is a deviation in the Lambert's law is possible. For question number 71, option number A, B, C are the correct statements, and that are available in the option number 1. For question number 71, option number 1 could be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 72. The gas commonly used in generating plasma in inductively coupled plasma atomic emission spectroscopy, which is said to be ICP-AES. Atomic emission spectroscopy. Basically, spectroscopy is majorly categorized into two types. One is called emission spectroscopy, second is called absorption spectroscopy. Whatever the light absorbed by the compound can analyze is called absorption spectroscopy. After absorbing the light, some extent of light will be emitted back. That emitted light, if analyzed, that is said to be emission spectroscopy. In case of inductively coupled plasma atomic emission spectroscopy, what happens? Any compound is taken, that converted into a plasma state. In general, we can assume that gaseous state, liquid state, solid state, these are the common state of compounds which are available in the natural form. But another exceptional well called plasma is possible whenever we are inducing we are inducing the compound called argon. The gas commonly used for this inductively coupled plasma atomic emission spectroscopy, we have to work with the argon gas. So if argon gas is introduced, being it is a noble gas used to introduce such a kind of plasma in that compound. So argon is a suitable answer in order to originate this plasma state of the compound. For question number 72, option number 1 could be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 73. The geometry cross section in barn of the nucleus A is given as 125. Radius is given by 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 15 meters approximately is. Geometry cross section in barn to be predicted. We have the formula for geometry cross section. Geometry cross section is equal to pi r square. This is the empirical formula. R is nothing but radius of the nucleus. Pi is nothing but 22 by 7. This is the fixed value, right? So here R geometry cross section is equal to pi r square is the formula. R is nothing but radius of the nucleus, that is given by R naught into a to the power 1 by 3. R is the product of R naught into a to the power 1 by 3 can be taken. R naught value is provided within the problem. R naught is given by 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 15. This should be the superscript, sorry. So here 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 15 meters is the R naught value, and second is about A. So A value is provided as 125. 125 here within the formula what they mentioned, a to the power 1 by 3 is required. That's why we are taking 125 to the power 1 by 3 we are taking. So in order to simplify the equation, we can write this 125 as 5 cube also. 5 5 is a 25, 25 5 is a 125. So that we can write this 125 in the form of 5 cube, right? So here the equation can be concised into 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 15 into 5 to the power 3 and whole to the power 1 by 3 can be taken. So here numerator 3, denominator 3 both get cancelled, so that the leftover term will be 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 15 into 5. So when we multiply these two, it will become 7 into 10 to the power minus 15 meters. This is the value of radius of the nucleus. We got R value. If we substitute R value in this geometry cross section, because they are asking for geometry cross section in barn. So actually we will get value in meters. That should be converted into a barn. First we have to get the value of this one, pi r square. So pi is nothing but 22 by 7, which is written as 3.14. R square can be taken. R value just now we got 7 into 10 to the power minus 5 meters. So this can be squared, so that it will become 3.14 into 7 sevens are 49. 10 to the power minus 15 can be doubled, so that it will become 10 to the power minus 30. Meter can become meter square. So that here this should be converted into bar. For that purpose, 1 bar is equal to 10 to the power minus 12 centimeters square. So first meter to centimeters, centimeters to bar kind of conversion we are going to do. For that purpose, here pi r square is equal to, this value can be taken and it should be multiplied with 10 to the power 4. So if it is multiplied with 10 to the power 4, so that meter to centimeter conversion is possible. After getting meter to centimeter, so entire terms get multiplied and we will get 153.86 into 10 to the power minus 26 centimeter square. So after getting this centimeter to barn, what is the relation? Centimeter to barn, 1 barn is equal to 10 to the power minus 24. Already we have 10 to the power minus 26. That's why 2 will be left over when it turned into a barn. So 153.86 into 10 to the power minus 2 barn value we got. So if we remove this 10 base, what happens? So here when 2 zeros get cancelled, this decimal point will move 2 points away, 2 points left side, so that it will become 1.54 barn. 1.54 barn is provided in the option number 2. That is a geometric cross section of the nucleus, right? So that is measured in barns. So for question number 73, option number 2 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 74. The number of stereoisomers of trans-cobalt Cl2 triethylene tetraamine Br tetraamine bromide is. Here you can clearly observe that in general we will go with cobalt ethylene diamine complexes. That will be a bidentate ligand. When you are taking with triethylene tetraamine, how many amino groups are there? 4 amino groups are there. That's why it will become tetradentate ligand. Each amine will donate one of the lone pair of electron, so that it will become tetradentate ligand, and more 2 chlorines are there. They should be oriented in the trans manner. That's the reason why here is the complex structure. 2 chlorines are axial, and the remaining 4 here NH2 CH2 CH2. Here you can write CH2 CH2. NH2 NH2, which are connected by CH2 CH2. Again NH2 NH2 connected by CH2 CH. This will be the representation of what? Triethyl tetraamine complex of this cobalt. This was taken. Then how many number of stereoisomers are possible for this one? Stereoisomers are 2 types. One is geometrical, second is optical. This compound is able to exhibit 2 geometrical, and optical isomers will be 2 by 2. So that will become 2 plus 1. So total possible geometrical as well as optical are 3. So 3 are provided in the option number 3. For question number 74, option number 3 will be the right answer, right? So this is purely based on what? Stereochemistry question, right? So orientation of the functional group, so that we will assign its geometry as well as optical isomers. Geometrical isomers are mainly due to what type? Geometry is nothing but due to the position of these functional groups around the double bond. If similar groups are present in the same side, called as similar groups are inclined in the 180 degrees angle, said to be a trans. Being it is an octahedral complex, you have to assign 2 chloro groups in the trans position, and that could exist in the 2 geometrical isomeric forms, so the 2 isomers are possible. In order to get the optical isomer, so being it is the molecule of chelated, always chelated molecules are somewhat tilted, you can't assign any kind of symmetry element for this one, so that you can say it is the optically active molecule. So if you go with any other cobalt complex which is forming complex with EDTA, in that case also optical isomer is able to obtained. So here optical as well as geometrical both are possible. One optical, 2 geometrical. So possible isomers for this cobalt complex will be 3. For question number 74, option number 3 will be the correct answer. Let us move on to question number 75. Under the physiological conditions, oxygen is binding to deoxyhemoglobin and deoxymyoglobin. The binding curve and its pH dependency respectively, right? So when we are applying physiological conditions are nothing but the process which carried in the living organisms are called physiological conditions. So here in our body we have bioinorganic molecules including hemoglobin, myoglobin. Both are constructed by iron, but hemoglobin, the purpose is that used to transport the oxygen throughout the body, and myoglobin used to store the oxygen. Myoglobin, which is present in the muscles, that will store the oxygen within the body if excess oxygen is there, right? So that is the those are the applications of hemoglobin and myoglobin which are present in the living organisms. Now they are asking for, under physiological condition, oxygen is binding to the deoxyhemoglobin and deoxymyoglobin. The binding curve and its pH dependence respectively, right? So here oxyhemoglobin. So oxyhemoglobin, there is a very clear explanation about this one. Deoxyhemoglobin, when taken, the graph is represented as a sigmoidal. Progressive growth will be observed for this one. That is mainly because of cooperative binding tendency. Let us see how it will be. This is the data collected from the ChemLiber text. Okay, because oxygen binding one heme group influences affinity of other heme group. So if one heme is participating bonding with oxygen, that will facilitate binding tendency of any other heme molecule to bind with oxygen. In that way, initiation get carried, so that heme molecule will be activated towards the oxygenation. So this is the kind of effect called heme-heme interaction, which is also called as cooperative binding. One will help to bind any other heme molecule with the oxygen atom, which is called heme-heme interactions. So that's the reason why here progressive growth is observed, which is called a sigmoid. So sigmoid is gradual. As the oxygen content increases, there is a considerable growth in the binding tendency will be observed. This is purely because of heme interactions, and it is said to be pH dependent. pH dependent in the sense by changing the acidic nature and basic nature around, so that here oxygen binding tendency will be influenced. So pH directly having the influence by changing the pH of the solution. If you are taking pH at low temp condition, one kind of binding will be there. As we are rising pH condition into a basic region, so that its binding tendency will be varied. So you can say it is a pH dependent. Then what could be the graphical representation for this deoxymyoglobin? So when you see myoglobin is used to give parabola. So this is a kind of system where parabola signal will be observed. Means its binding affinity when compared to hemoglobin will be extremely large. So myoglobin having very strong tendency to bind with oxygen, and the extent of binding will be more. That's why you can find even more rise in this myoglobin oxygen binding. That is clearly compared with hemoglobin, right? Now let us see what could be the reason for that one. That is also explained, and this data is also collected from ChemLibrary text. The structure of deoxymyoglobin is in such a way where oxygen binding affinity is extremely large when compared to oxyhemoglobin. That's the reason why hyperbola structure, the affinity with respect to this oxygen will be higher. That's the reason why it is able to give the hyperbola structure when compared to the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, there is a slow growth. So initially it will be low and continuously it is rising. But in case of myoglobin, a great rise in the myoglobin curvature, you can observe this is called a hyperbola. So that is purely because of its affinity towards the oxygen, so that it will bind in the larger extent, and consequently signal will be the hyperbola. And it is pH independent. Whether you can take acidic condition, neutral condition, basic condition, this kind of interference, this kind of affinity will not be varied. That is said to be pH independent. So that the correct option for this question will be option number 1. So deoxyhemoglobin will give sigmoidal, and it will be a pH dependent. In case of myoglobin, it will be hyperbola and pH independent, right? So this is a question from bio inorganic chemistry. For question number 75, option number 1 is the right answer. Let us move on to question number 76. It is the question of match the following, and this is given from again bio inorganic chemistry itself. Okay, so match the metalloproteins with the column A and their corresponding function with the column B. Oxyhemocyanin. Hemocyanin is nothing but copper containing metal, copper containing complex, where it is also used for the purpose of oxygen transportation, and especially in the marine invertebrates. This is the structural representation of oxyhemocyanin, where two copper moieties will be there and they are bounded, each copper bounded with the histidine units. Said to be imidazole units are present. Each copper is bounded with the 3 imidazole respectively, and both are connected by the bridging oxygen linkage. So this is a kind of structure which is provided for oxyhemocyanin. The main purpose of this one will be the oxygen transportation in the marine invertebrates, right? And the second will be carbonic anhydrase. Carbonic anhydrase is a zinc bonded protein, and it is mainly used for the conversion of carbon dioxide. It absorbs the carbon dioxide, and the carbonic acid bicarbonates will be generated by this one. Okay, that is the main purpose. Let us see the detailed. Here is the carbonic anhydrase enzyme, and it is represented in the ribbon-like structure, and also chemical representation is also provided. Again, it is a zinc bonded, and imidazole units are present around that. One of the free water molecule is surrounded with this zinc. So one of the hydrogen now replaced with this carbon dioxide moiety, and here is the detailed mechanism of how this carbonic anhydrase used to convert carbon dioxide into carbonic acid. So for that purpose, initially we are taking zinc bonded histidine kind of metalloenzyme was taken. So one of the hydrogen from this zinc carbonic anhydrase will be replaced with the carbon dioxide, so that this carbon dioxide directly linked to the oxygen rather than zinc. This is the in either time. Some other time we also got the question, what is the tendency of carbon dioxide, whether it binds with oxygen or zinc. So that for that purpose, we have to go with the detailed mechanism discussion. So if you clear about the mechanism, so that it will be easy to find out what is the right answer for this one. Carbon dioxide directly linked to the oxygen, later it will be bonded to the zinc, right? So here this carbon dioxide will be bonded to oxygen and further water will be added. So here that hydration is possible on the zinc molecule, so that slowly we can discard this carbonic acid moiety, and again retention of this what we can say metalloenzyme, that is carbonic anhydrase will be generated, again it binded, and the cycle will be continued for several times. So in that way, the purpose of carbonic anhydrase conversion of carbon dioxide into carbonic acid is possible. Cytochrome P450. Cytochrome P450 is also in either in either kind of organism, another kind of system which is present in the living organism. The main purpose is which used to oxidize the alkene molecules. It is a kind of system. Iron is a central metal where it bounded with the porphyrin ring system, and cysteine rich sulfur is also present around that central metal. The purpose of this one will be oxidation of alkenes. It is used in the oxidation of alkenes, that is provided in the where it is provided, oxidation of alkenes provided in the option number 2, right? And the fourth option, last one, will be carboxypeptidase A. Carboxypeptidase, within the question only answer is there. Peptidase means it used to hydrolyze, it used to cleave the peptide linkages. That means protein bonds will be cleaved in the presence of carboxypeptidase A enzyme. So let us see what is carboxypeptidase. Carboxypeptidase, again zinc bonded enzyme. It is leucine to histidine. Earlier, in case of this one, carboxy anhydrase, if you see all are histidine moieties, right? Carbonic anhydrase, you can find all histidine. But in case of this one, this is called carboxypeptidase. So exactly structural resemblance is there with this carbonic anhydrase. Only the difference is one of the histidine now replaced with a glycine, right? Histidine 2 units are there. This is glutamic acid, sorry, and a zinc OH will be there. Now it will be bounded to this amide. So amide will be bounded to this one, and because this amide is nothing but what? Peptide linkage. This is the protein. The protein will be linked to this one. So after linking to this one, what happens? So that protein is now directly linked with oxygen rather than OH. OH will not be influenced here. So that entire peptide bond will be directly linked to this zinc, subsequently added with any other amine, and that entire moiety will be discarded as anhydrate. And again, new generation of this enzyme is possible, which is called carboxypeptidase. So later, this another carboxypeptidase will be added, and zinc, oxygen, COH, and the C double bond with glycine. So this glycine moiety is going to add here, and that will be bonded. And finally, if you remove this H plus and the bond is shifted, it will become carbonyl functional group, and this bond will be eliminated from the system, so that ultimately there is a removal of carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid will be discarded from the system, and we will get again carboxypeptidase. In this manner, cleavage of, so how the cleavage? So initially we are taking amide linkage, that amide initially cleaved and one of the amine will be discarded. Amine has the one fragment, carboxylic acid has another fragment. Amide is composed of CO and NH2. CO is converted into one fragment, NH is converted into another fragment in the presence of this carboxypeptidase that used to cleave the peptide bonds, and so that here peptides get processed in the living organisms. Peptide hydrolysis reactions are carried by this one. So that is the purpose of carboxypeptidase. Hydrolysis of carbon terminal peptide bond is possible with this. So oxyhemocyanin is majorly used for oxygen transportation. It is not storage, right? So here carbonic anhydrase is used for the conversion of carbon dioxide into carbonic acid. One with F is there in the option number 1 and option number 3. You may go with either 1 or 3. Carbonic anhydrase, carbon dioxide to bicarbonate C. 2 with C. 2 with C is available in option number 1, but not option number 3. So only option number 1 will be the right answer. Let us confirm with the remaining 2 also. Cytochrome P450, the purpose of cytochrome P450 will be oxidation of alkenes. 3 with the D is also right answer. Carboxypeptidase A. Carboxypeptidase A will be the enzyme. Hydrolysis of carbon terminal peptide bond. 4 with A is also there. For question number 76, option number 1 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 77. So, sodium Neta5C5H5 FeCO taken twice reacts with the bromine to give A. Reaction of A with a lithium aluminium hydride results in B. The proton in the spectrum of B consists of two singlets of relative intensity of 5:1. Compound A, B respectively are. Here is the complex of iron. That is sodium Neta5C5H5 iron CO taken twice was taken, added with bromine. So now let us see what will be the reaction sequence and what are the products generated. Two products we have to predict. So for this purpose, the sequence of mechanisms will be initially iron is surrounded with one cyclopentadienyl anion and two carbonyl groups are there. This is a complex. Now it will be treated with bromine. How it will be? So extension of the coordination. Initially three coordination with the three atoms will be there. Actually carbonyl groups contribute only 2 electrons, but cyclopentadienyl will give 5 electrons from this. When it is bounded to bromine, that coordination number will be extended by 1 unit. So here it will become tetra-coordinated complex now. So later it will be treated with titanium, lithium aluminium hydride. Being it is a strong reducing agent, bromo group now replaced with a hydrogen. So here this will be the compound number A, which is required for the problem. And after treating with lithium aluminium hydride, bromine now replaced with a hydrogen. So this will be the final product. So let us see what is the right sequence of reaction. Neta5C5H5 iron CO2Br. This will be the starting compound number A, and Neta5C5H5 iron CO2H. So initial one is said to be a association mechanism because we are not removing any kind of thing. And the second is said to be a second reaction is a substitution reaction. Bromo now replaced with hydrogen. For question number 77, option number 1 is the right answer. Let us move on to question number 78. The compound that undergoes oxidative addition reaction in the presence of hydrogen. So oxidative addition reaction, in order to perform the oxidative addition, electron should be added to the system. So initial compound should be electron deficient in nature, then only it will accept the electrons, and consequently hydrogen will be added, and we will get the higher order complex. Now let us see that is possible by taking this iridium complex, iridium PPH3 PPH3. This can be stated as trans PPH3 PPH3 COCl, right? So this is a complex said to be a Vasquez complex, and it is associated with 16 electron system. What is the condition in general? Always any complex tends to attain the stable 18 electron configuration. Being it is a 16 electron system, it having strong tendency to take more 2 electrons, that is called oxidative addition. When hydrogen is added, along with hydrogen addition, electrons also added to the system, so that it will be turned into an 18 electron system. In general, this is very tricky. In general, hydrogen addition is said to be a reduction, but what they are asking for, they are adding hydrogen and asking for oxidative addition, so that only exceptionally possible with this complex called Vasquez complex. And when we are taking with this triphenyl phosphine complex, initially it is a 16 electron. After adding electrons, it will be oxidatively added and turned into 18 electron system. Being it is added with hydrogen, initially square planar, now turned into octahedral complex. So this is the exceptional reaction which is carried on the Vasquez complex. So this is the data collected from NPTEL lectures, right? So that is available in the option number 3. For question number 78, option number 3 will be the right answer. Let us move on to question number 79. Proton NMR spectrum of free benzene shows the peak at 7.2 ppm. The expected chemical shift in ppm of benzene ligand in proton NMR spectrum of neta-6C6H6 chromium CO taken thrice, and the reason for it, of if any, is. So initially the spectral signal. So for generally, benzene will give the signal at 7.2. So this implies that aromatic protons are present in the compound. But same benzene when attached with the chromium CO taken thrice, what happens? Signal 7.2 shifted to 4.5. So this is mainly because of disruption of ring current. Ring current will be reduced. That is clearly explained in this. Here, aromaticity of the benzene neta-6C6H6 chromium CO taken thrice complex analyzed using several indicators. So whether the compound still exists in aromatic and or not, that can be taken with the different indicator parameters, so that it explains different manifestations also carried for aromaticity of this benzene ring, right? So all indices used except NICS show that there is a clear reduction in the aromaticity. So initially pure benzene, when considered, it will be more aromatic in nature. But when this benzene, this is a complex said to be an organometallic complex. Whenever carbon containing compounds added to metal, those are called organometallic compounds. So when this organometallic compound is formed with the chromium, its aromaticity property will be lost, means reduced, not completely lost. Aromatic nature will be reduced to some extent. More the aromatic nature, greater will be the shifting to downfield in the NMR spectral signal. So here benzene becomes lesser aromatic. In this coordination complex of cobalt tricarbonyl, that's the reason why ring current will be diminished, so that the signal will be shifted to upfield 4.5 ppm value, right? This is the data collected from ResearchGate. For question number 17 and option number 1 is the right answer. Now let us move on to question number 18, last question of the series. An aqueous solution of manganese H2O taken 6+2, complex is pale pink color. The probable reason for this is, so manganese complex, in general, we know that all the transition metal complexes are colored in nature. Even group 1 elements are metals, but their complexes, their compounds are not colored. When you take sodium chloride, what is the color? White. In chemistry, white is not at all considered as a color, right? So that's the reason why only transition metals, so exceptionally transition metals are used to give the intense colors. That is purely because of DD transitions, right? So here another properties also there, that is called charge transfer spectra. That is another reason in order to exhibit the color for these complexes, because these complexes are used to absorb the light in the visible region. That is because of DD transition and charge transfer transition as well. That's the reason why they are used to exhibit different colors. But in case of manganese H2O taken 6, manganese is a D5 system, and when it is attached with the water, being water is a weak field ligand, that able to give the high spin complex, right? What could be the reason for that? So in this, if you observe, manganese exists in the +7 oxidation state, electron rich water. Water always carries what oxygen is associated with 2 lone pair of electrons, so electron rich water will be attached to the manganese, and ligand to metal charge transfer is possible. Ligand to metal charge transfer is possible. That's the reason why color is possible for this complex. But DD transitions are not possible. So color is due to ligand to metal charge transfer, but intensity of the color is diminished. That is purely because of DD transitions are not allowed for this kind, because it is a Laporte forbidden. So in order to get DD transition, 2 conditions should be obeyed. The compound must obey Laporte and also spin transition. Laporte is forbidden for this. That's the reason why the color is pale in nature. So let us see what is the correct sequence of reasons for this kind of nature. So presence of 6A1G ground state is the one of the reason, and disallowed transition by the spin selection rule. So here disallowed transition is possible because it is a Laporte forbidden kind of transition. So that these are the main reasons for the decreasing intensity of its color. For question number 80, A, B are the correct options that are available on option number 1. For question number 80, option number 1 is the right answer. By this, CSIR NET JRF Chemical Science, December 2014, Part C Series 1 was completed. I think this session will be helpful for your preparation. Thank you very much for your consistent listening. Thank you, one and all.